All right, let's go.
I'm excited, man.
I know, me too. Have you been in a clear kayak before?
Never.
Okay.
This is my first time, first
Yeah.
experience. As you can see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It's crazy. Okay, there we go.
And I do it like you just did, right? Go.
Yeah.
All right,
Let's try.
do
Yeah,
it.
try to be slow and careful. You got it.
Well,
You all
my
right?
bad.
We said
For
you're
slow.
good.
My bad for slow and
Stuck
careful.
the landing. We're good. We're good. We're good.
We survived. So I'm not
No,
that
no, you're-
experienced, but I'm excited, man.
You're good.
Is it okay if I do a little?
Yeah.
Like I said, 15 seconds, nothing
do what
crazy.
you got to do.
Good morning from beautiful Rainbow River. Love this place. Josh, thank you, my friend, for this
What's up,
beautiful
man?
experience.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Me too, man. Super excited. How beautiful.
If you want to just go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of a little bit of your background, like where you're from, and then we can kind of take it from there and kind of see where we head with
Let's
this
do it.
conversation.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel. Most of you guys know me as Aquadan or Dan. I was born in Brazil, 1982.
Nice.
I was blessed enough to grow up in this beautiful city, Rio de Janeiro. We had a lot of nature, waterfalls, the beach. I was maybe an hour and a half from either. So always really connected to the water and nature. And when I was 16 years old, I was blessed to be brought to this amazing country to go to high school. And I've been here since. I'm an American, more than a Brazilian. Spent most of my life here. And I'm having this beautiful day with Josh.
Yeah.
Rainbow
Well,
River.
Thank you for coming out, and again, I'm excited to just explore the river here and just chat, because I know we've hung out, well, kind of hung out a few times in passing on the river, but we
Yes.
haven't actually like intentionally spent time and like hung out and talked and all that. So I'm excited like to get to learn about you and your background and all that. So, but I guess we'll start with like, so you moved from Brazil to the U.S. when you were 16. What part of, or I guess, did you move to Florida right away?
Yeah.
Or like, where did you move from after moving from Brazil?
Came straight to Florida.
Okay.
I came to Tampa.
Okay.
I actually went to school at Gator High School.
Gator High School. How do you spell that? Just like,
G-A-T-H-E-R.
okay, so it's not like gator, like alligator.
No.
Okay.
Like Gator is like in North Tampa.
Okay.
For the first year. Then we moved to Pinellas County, where I did my high school in Pinellas Park High School. To learn English, and it was really difficult at first, man, truthfully.
Yeah.
But it all came together when I joined sports.
Okay.
Played soccer for high school, did a little bit of the football team, and within a year and a half, I was already speaking English.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's always like
Great.
when you go somewhere else, like whether you're, I guess, vacationing or just trying to learn a new language in general, it's so much better to spend like a longer extended period of time there so you can kind of get, because it
Yeah.
forces you to have to learn the language, whereas when you're just on vacation, you just whip out like Google Translate and you're like, how do I say I want the steak on the menu or whatever. Like you can do that on Translate, but when you live there, like you're forced to have to learn it. So
Especially, back then, it was even harder
Yeah,
because
true.
there was none of that technology
you didn't have
that
to
we
Google
have
Translate,
today.
yeah.
And so I was forced. I was basically thrown in regular classes.
Yep.
And I had a 2-hour VSOL, they call, which
Okay.
is a course where they teach you English throughout the curriculum
Okay.
of the school day. Man, it was hard. I remember I was 16 years old. All my friends are in Brazil, and I used to cry. I used to be like, I want to go home.
Yeah. What so wait, why, like, so you moved here with your parents, or did you just move here, or?
Yeah, my mom brought me here.
Okay.
My mom brought my sister and I in 1998.
Okay.
It was a time where Rio de Janeiro was getting really crazy, really dangerous. And she told us, we're just gonna go for a year and we come back. but really she was trying to protect us from growing up in that dangerous place.
Yeah.
A lot of things were happening to kids, and she wanted something better for us.
Yeah.
And it was looking back now, man, it was the best thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what I'll be if I was there still, or what I'll be doing if I even be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I actually like grew up and I played soccer, and then obviously like Brazil hosted the World Cup back in, was it 2008?
Here in '94, I think.
Or was it? No. I thought it was earlier than that because I was alive when the World Cup was in Brazil. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, in Brazil. Okay,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Brazil. Yes, 2008.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes,
what I thought.
yes.
So I know like, and then I know that the time period. Obviously, I know that it's a little bit different with like what you're talking about, with it kind of being unsafe when you guys left. But I know during that time period, with the 2008 World Cup being in Brazil, and then they had Carnival going on, and so they kind of all lined up where it was like pretty chaotic, and then everybody was really, really upset at the president of Brazil because I think it was a female president at the time too.
Yes.
And everybody was really mad at her because they were using a lot of the government funding to build all of these stadiums for the World Cup.
Yes.
And so then a lot of the necessary government things and like healthcare and all the other things kind of got put on the back burner. So a lot of like people in Brazil were really, really upset at that.
And not only that, they relocated thousands of people
Yeah.
to build these huge stadiums all over Brazil that after the World Cup were abandoned. They're
Yeah.
not getting used. So yeah, people were really, really upset.
Yeah.
I remember that very well. I was here already.
Okay.
But it's true, yeah, it was basically just like that. And that's the problem. The corruption there, man, is incredible.
Yeah.
It was a big thing with FIFA
Yeah.
and the government of Brazil about the corruption, the money, the funds used, how they used it. And people were really, really upset. I remember that,
Yeah.
from family, yeah. And the lady president, man, whew, that
I know.
was a lot.
I heard people were not very happy with her when she was in office, and I mean, I don't know. Like even in, obviously, you're being in the U.S. and you're very aware of the politics and stuff. But I mean, some people care more than others. But I mean, for me, I try not to get super involved in politics.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's very important
Yes.
to be knowledgeable of what's going on. But so in regards to like the politics in Brazil, like I don't know a lot about it. I just know at the time that people were very upset with what like the
Yeah.
decision she was making and all that.
It's a whole thing, her name is Dilma,
Okay.
actually. But it's a whole thing with the political
Look
party.
at the turtle. Look at the turtle. Right here.
Look at
He's
that.
diving in the grass.
That is so cool. This is so beautiful, man.
There's a little spring right here.
Oh, this is a spring?
Yeah, there's a little one.
So when you see on here these patches
Yeah.
on the grass, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean not all the time. I mean, I would say a lot of times when you're on a spring run or spring-fed river, if you see patches like this, not all the time, but a lot of time they are springs, and it's because with the pressure of the water coming out, it kind of wears down at the bottom, and it makes it really hard for the grass to take root and to grow. And so it kind of kills off the grass in the area. And so that's why you're kind of usually left with a very sandy bottom. So, I mean, that's not the case all the time. But a lot of times if you do see kind of like a sandy bottom like that, it's usually a pretty good indication that there's a spring there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
See, this is what I love about you, Josh. You teach us so much stuff, man. This is one of the reasons I think I started following your page.
Yeah.
Because, you always were posting about Silver River, and I love that place as well.
Yeah.
And Silver Spring State Park, and your education and stuff is amazing, Josh. It's we learn so much, man.
Yeah, just from sharing and, I bumped your camera. I see this little white heron. So pretty.
This is one of the things about Florida, man, that I love is how
buddy.
we're just so close
Yeah.
to all this nature.
Yep.
It's
Yeah, there's another little spring right here. You can kind of see it worn down, like same situation.
Yeah.
Like you can see there's not a lot of vegetation there.
That is so cool. I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Yep. And I mean, they don't always have to be very, like it doesn't have to pump out like an insane amount of water. Oh, the otters are actually straight ahead up there. We're gonna hopefully see them here.
Cool.
They just swim to the right into this grass. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there he is. See him?
Oh, I see it. I see him. Oh man, this is a whole nother level of experience, Josh.
Yeah, it's so cool coming out here too on like a cold morning like this because there's no one out and you get to kind of have the river to yourself. So it's like my favorite time to be out here. The winter time on the springs is hands down like the best time to visit any of the springs out here.
I do love the springs in the wintertime, like you said too, because of not many people.
Yeah.
I want to have a question that I want to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Why do some springs change color dramatically,
Yeah.
dramatically, and some don't during the wintertime? Some actually kind of even look ugly in a way.
Dang, I don't know where that otter went. He I think disappeared into the grass. But are you talking about like the brown?
The color, I feel like summertime sometimes they're prettier.
Yeah. I mean, there's a handful of, and again, I'm like, this is just stuff that I'm not I'm not the most knowledgeable on all of this stuff. And actually, I do see the creek right now. It does look a little bit more brown. A lot of times, you'll see it browned, and the term that people use is called browned out, which I'm sure you probably have heard.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's after like a really heavy rain, and then you have organic chemicals and stuff that come from the trees and from the plants, and basically it's just plants that are decaying, and then it's called tannins, and so the tannins kind of wash off from the trees and from the vegetation, and then they end up in the water, and the properties of the tannins are like that brown color, and it almost makes it look like tea. Like a sweet tea almost. And then the more concentrated the tannins are in the water, the darker that water will be. And so that's why like when you're paddling like the Santa Fe or the Swanee or rivers that like the main river source is not like predominantly spring fed. Like there are springs that feed into it. But that's why the water is kind of more brown, is because you have a lot more of that tannic properties. I totally think we just got, oh, there he is, look.
Oh, wow.
The little otter.
Yes.
Here, I'm gonna see if I can get a video.
That is so cool.
But yeah, so that's kind of the
Right.
the idea behind it.
You know, it's funny you say Santa Fe. I was there a few weeks back, and
Really?
the water was basically clear. The river was pretty low, Santa Fe.
Really?
And it was almost, the whole river was almost clear.
Yeah, usually the main river is pretty dark. So yeah, the water level had to have been pretty low for it to be a lot more clear.
I could see all the rocks.
Yeah.
It was kind of like
You gotta be careful if you're on the jet ski, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dang, he juked us.
Are they curious like the manatees or
No,
whatever?
not at all. I've had a few times when they swim closer to you, but it's just because you're kind of where they're trying to get to. Most of the time they don't want to be around people. They like to avoid the crowds and avoid people. But yeah, I was gonna ask you, so obviously Aquadan is your name, that's who you are.
Yes.
How did that come about? And then was that always like you with the jet ski, or did you do something prior to that then it kind of just evolved into you doing the jet skis? Like how did you get to be the platform that you are?
All right. When a few years back, in 2019,
Okay.
I jumped on a jet ski and I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God. So by 2020, I bought one.
Okay.
Bought my first one, wasn't really doing videos in the beginning of the year. And then I bought my second one because the first one was kind of like weak.
Wait, okay.
Wave runner, actually. I should correct myself.
Is that what they're properly called? Is a wave runner? You don't call it a jet ski?
Well, it depends on the brand. So
Okay.
Kawasaki's are jet skis.
Okay.
Yamaha's are wave runners, and Sea-Doos are Sea-Doos.
Okay. I didn't know that there's like different ones.
Yeah. Now, for me being a Yamaha guy,
Okay.
I got to make sure I don't make
Called a
that
wave
error.
runner. Yeah.
Wave runner. But so
got you.
I started joining these groups to make friends with similar likes than I,
Yeah.
to the jet ski groups. And people started calling me, hey, Aquaman, because I had long hair and a beard.
Yeah.
Aquaman, Aquaman. And I started thinking to myself, I think I'm gonna start posting videos on Instagram. And
Yeah.
so it was about October. I was like, I'm gonna call myself Aquadan because
I know, it's awesome.
I don't
love
want to
it.
be, Aquaman already exists.
Yeah.
I'm Aquadan. And
When you did that, did somebody else already have that name on like the social channels, Aquadan? Because I feel like it's a pretty unique name, but I could see somebody else already making like an Instagram account that said Aquadan. Like,
Yes.
did someone else already have that, or were you like the first one to try to do that, or?
So by doing what I was doing, I think I was actually the first one on the wave runners
Yeah,
and jet
yeah, yeah.
skis and things like that. But then after, posting, I saw there was a guy in Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
He's called Aquadan DR or something like that.
Okay.
And he does traveling, all over the world. I
There's
guess.
Otter right there. Let's see if I get it. He's like straight ahead of us. Oh, we're gonna crash. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, this guy he's always on the water as well, but he's big. He's big time.
Okay. I mean, I feel like you're big time.
Oh man, thank you. I guess I don't see it that way, man.
Yeah,
It's weird.
Yeah.
Everything happens so fast. It's kind of weird.
There he is. Look right in front of us.
Oh wow. He's showing off for us. That is so cool.
He's checking us out. I kind of lost him though.
It'd be cool if he goes live.
I know. They're so quick. Like they're one of the, in my opinion, they're one of the hardest things to, like, photograph or take videos of on the river. And they're super cool, but they're very quick. It's hard to get a good shot, and especially when you have the wind like today. You can't really be in one place to get a good video.
Yeah, because we're moving quick.
Yeah. Yep.
That was a pretty one.
Yeah. I think I got a semi-good video of him above the water, but sorry, you can continue. Yeah. So you're saying in the Dominican Republic, there's another dude who's little, like pretty well known that he has Aquadan.
He's like, I guess, DR Aquadan or something like that.
What does he do? So like he's on the water, but I mean, does he do like wave runner stuff?
No. Yeah, I guess he's just doing. I guess he started showing all the beautiful water spots in DR, and now he's going all over the world.
Okay.
He travels, to all the South American countries, all over the world, really.
Yeah.
And showing beautiful places.
That wind.
Yeah. So yeah, but other than that, there's other few people, Aqua, but I think I was really, I didn't know about any other Aquadan until this guy from DR.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, and it was weird because I picked that and it's, I don't know, it was weird. It stuck perfectly.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody else doing the jet ski thing at the time. There was like community pages.
You got the long hair. You're a big dude. I mean, sometimes you walk around with a trident. I mean.
Yes. Halloween time they got me doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it fits perfectly. So.
Which was a blast, man. So yeah, it stuck, and I started basically. I was like, you know what, Aquadan. Now what I'm gonna do? I love Florida. I love riding my wave runner to beautiful places in Florida.
Yeah.
And I want to share beautiful places that you can reach with your wave runner in Florida. It came out the idea.
Yeah. And so you said you started that in early 2000 or?
So yeah, October was my first post.
2019 or
2020.
Okay. So it's only been like, what, 3.5 years now?
Yeah, 3.5 years.
Yeah.
But it was just pictures. I was posting pictures mostly. We didn't have reels at the time.
Yeah, social media is so different now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll post some videos too, but things just started, I don't know, happening.
Yeah.
Kind of fast. It was a really cool experience. How I just I was like, I'm gonna start posting these beautiful places in Florida. I'm Aquadan, and after that, it's, I made a goal. Like it's something that became my dream.
Yeah.
I Yamaha never had an ambassador on the
Okay.
Wave Runner. They doing everything else. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be the first Yamaha Wave Runner ambassador.
That's awesome.
And it became my dream, really.
Yeah.
It became like, I'm gonna do everything I can. So from that point, I started, posting, tagging them on everything, posting. I'll be on my stories, Yamaha, I'm your guy, just talking smack.
Yeah. Like, hey, you're missing out if you're not
If you don't-
partnering with me, or yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you guys. Just let me know when, and
Yeah.
I'll be ready.
And so did that eventually turn into something? Like what?
Man, it was incredible. Yes, I did. So throughout these things, I started like really posting and going after them. And I'll never forget this day when I put on my stories. I was just messing around over there by my house in Clearwater, and I got into this little bayou without checking the water levels.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I started. I didn't check the water levels. It was like near sunset. Got into this little area. Got stuck. Tide went down
no.
so fast.
Dang.
I got stuck.
Where was that at?
So it was behind Caladisi Island
Okay.
on the inlet side.
Okay. So you're in like in a tidal area, and
Yeah.
obviously it went out a lot quicker than
A
you.
lot quicker.
Yeah.
It was a real small circle I was gonna do in there, and I hit sand. And from that, it was quick.
Yeah.
So I've always been the person that I've always shared on my stories.
Yeah.
When I crashed into the grass and I was doing trails, when I get stuck, I always share the whole everything. I've never been the guy that
Like you don't want to. Yeah. You don't want to.
I'm not gonna post only the cool stuff.
Yeah. Like only the cool stuff. Like you want to be real with your people.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was sharing, my experiences, my wave run adventures.
Yep.
Was what I named my page after the Aquadan. So anything that happened, I would share. So this day, I remember I got stuck there. I made the decision to leave the wave runner behind, call some friends. I walked to the Gulf through the mangroves and all that.
Yeah.
All the way to Clearwater Beach.
How far was that? Or like how long were you walking for if you don't know like distance?
3 miles maybe.
In like the marshy like swamp area kind of? Or
Kind
not?
of,
It's
for
not
a little
swamp
bit,
area.
half of
but-
it. Yeah, half of it was in the
Wow.
mangrove areas. I always wore shoes.
Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But then the other half, I got to the beach and walked to downtown Clearwater.
Wow.
Not downtown Clearwater, but the Mandalay area.
I got you. That's crazy that you walked that far.
Yeah, and from there, my mom picked me up.
Okay.
And I was sharing that whole ordeal.
Your whole adventure, yeah.
So the next day, I remember saying something like, Yamaha, I'm waiting for you. I went back to pick up.
Yeah.
I measured when the tide was gonna go up. Guy dropped off on the same spot in the Mandalay and walked out there. And then I was like, Yamaha, I'm waiting for you like I'm waiting on this tide. And this is a really, really funny story because it's weird. This was the first time they actually looked at my stories.
Really?
So it's kind of crazy. They just looked at my stories a little bit, and I was always,
While all of this is going on, you have
Yeah.
this saga unfolding of
Yes.
your adventure of beaching your wave runner, and now you're trying to get it back, and they finally check in on you on your story, and they're like, "Who is this guy?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
On this weird situation,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
even on a cool, beautiful place.
Yeah.
So they saw my whole ordeal. And, I was like, then I started talking more.
Yeah.
I'm here, I'm here for your ambassadorship, blah, 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 throughout that funny ordeal. Man, it was crazy. Within a month, they posted one of my videos.
Okay.
And
So
then,
did they like reach out to you at all, or they viewed your story, they didn't make any contact with you, and then a few weeks later they post one of your videos, and that's all the contact you got from them, or?
so yeah, they posted one of my videos and they sent me a message, hey, email me on this email after they posted my video.
Yeah.
And it was really, this is a story that stays with me if I got the time to share. So I did, I emailed them, exchanged numbers, we chatted with the person, my contact on Yamaha. And he told me, you know how I found you? So I have a son in Europe. And he said, Dad, you need to check out this guy. You guys gotta get in contact with this guy. There's
Yeah.
this guy, Aquadan in Florida, screaming out Yamaha, riding a wave runner,
beaching it out, like getting it stuck in the sand.
Yes. So he's like, maybe you guys gotta check him out. And from there on, you know, he told me, hey, this is really something that, oh yeah, this is so cool.
Yeah.
He's like, this is not something that we do usually. We don't work with creators. We have never done. It was against our policy.
Yeah.
And I understand a lot of responsibility behind that. You know, they can't have somebody screaming their name doing
crazy stuff,
crazy
but not,
stuff,
yeah.
setting a bad example.
Yeah.
So he's like, I cannot make you an ambassador right now, but I'll facilitate your adventures. I'll help you with gas money.
Okay.
On the hush hush.
When did that all start?
So this was, I think, it was about February when they posted that video in 2021, because he said, who's ready for us to ride on summer with Aquadan? It was a caption or something like that. So in 2021, I started working, you know, with the Yamaha on the hush hush, because they're like, there's no budget for this, but we wanted to keep you out. We like what you're doing.
Yeah.
We like your message, and
we're just gonna float here. We're just gonna, yeah.
You're using our machine, and it's been like my dream came true, man. I couldn't believe what was going on, because it was like a goal that I set, that people would look at me and say, you're crazy. They never worked with nobody. They're never gonna make you an ambassador. People used to tell me that, and I pursued it, and you know, I started just having direct contact with the, you know, Yamaha wave runners.
Yeah.
Which, man, it was amazing.
And so is it still kind of like an unofficial partnership with them, or are you actually like fully onboarded with them now, and they kind of more promote you, or how does that look now?
Yeah, now, you know, nowadays, after, you know, all this time, so 2022, 2021, you know, they started working with me. 2022, the end of 2021 came along, and they started lending me new machines for me to, you know, create content. Which I didn't know what was gonna lead to it, but nowadays, yes, I can say that I am a Yamaha Wave Runner ambassador.
Okay, nice.
He told me then, it's, you know, we no longer are able to keep you in a hush hush.
Yeah.
You know.
So you're getting too big. You have too many people following you now.
Yes, it's like, you know, people here at the office.
Yeah.
I walk in, they're like, hey, did you see where Aquadan was? You know, so it's like, so yeah, now I am.
That's so cool.
Man, it became a dream. It became, you know, was everything that I wanted. I'm so grateful and thankful to Yamaha and the Wave Runners, you know, for just seeing me and giving me a shot.
Yeah.
I, you know, because I picked Yamaha after doing some research.
Of like what the best machine on the water was.
The best machine on the water was, what would I want? And so on Yamaha, you got, you know, performance, durability, and for me, the most important thing, I have to be able to depend on my machine. I go to a lot of remote places.
Yeah.
And
you can't be getting stuck all the time.
I can't have a machine breaking down on me. And
but that was kind of your fault getting stuck with the tide. That wasn't the machine.
No.
That was just a mistake.
That was my mistake, you know, not checking the tide.
Yeah.
From that point on, I always check the tide.
You're probably on point with the tide everywhere you go all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because it had to happen that way.
Yeah, for you to learn, and it could have been a lot worse, but you're able to get out of that situation, and a pretty cool thing came from it.
Exactly, and you know. So, you know, dependability, durability, man, and the performance. The machines are amazing.
Yeah.
I have rode 2 right now, at least 4 different wave runners with them. I got over 1,500 hours, and I have never been stuck with a problem on the machine or the engine, a default issue, never.
That's awesome.
And you know, it's something I can claim. I can say it truthfully. They don't have to pay me to say these things.
Yeah.
You know,
it's awesome when you work with a brand and they're not just like giving you money to like, hey, we might not be these things, but just say that we are. Like when it's actually, when you're working with a brand and a company that cares about their audience and cares about the people who are using their products, that they actually are paying attention to these things, and you can say them with pride is pretty cool.
Exactly. You know, I got to tell you something, Jack, about that since we touched. Like you and I, we I learned this the hard way through the time. We have a social responsibility. I learned that I didn't want to work with any company either
Yeah.
because, we love the ecosystem, we love nature.
Yeah.
And so I'm very careful with who I work and who I promote because of the social responsibility we
Yeah.
got. I didn't know that I was gonna become Aquadan and
Yeah.
all this stuff was gonna happen.
Become what? Yeah.
So, even for example, to the small things, and I put a song in one of my videos, and the song has some curse words. So this is all happening. I'm learning as I go.
Yeah. And,
You
and
know?
that's all, like, I mean, honestly, I feel like all these different, not just Yamaha, but just in general, all these brands and companies and creators and even like myself, like, I mean, we're all figuring things out as we go. I mean, they may be really good at video production, and when they post certain things, like, it looks really curated and very very put together. But I think in the back end, I think a lot more people are figuring it out more than they actually have it together.
Exactly. I'm learning as I'm going.
Yeah.
And I got in trouble. I thought I was gonna, lose Yamaha because of this song.
Okay.
Because, I end up getting reposted on the Yamaha page without
Yeah.
them listening to it.
Yeah.
So they're like, Dan, this is not just for Yamaha, Dan. Oh, I touched the mic. He's like, this is not
No,
for,
it's okay.
He's like, this is not for Yamaha, Dan. This is for you.
Yeah.
You have a responsibility. You influence people. You have kids that like you.
Yeah.
We do want to ask you that while we're working together, you have to cut off the cursing songs.
Yeah.
And that was no problem.
Yeah.
Those trend. And that's why sometimes we use them.
Yeah.
But, I was like, okay, you're right. And I started learning about the social responsibility that we have
Yeah.
as creators. And we don't want to, when he says something about the children, I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what, you're right. And I have kids.
Yeah. So, especially having your own kids and like, would you want them, not that, like, I guess cursing is inherently bad, but it's like, you don't want your kids to, like, I mean, if they were on Instagram and they're scrolling or whatever, and every video that they're looking at has somebody dropping the F-bomb, I mean, you don't want, and, like, it's not something that you're...
It's not cool.
Yeah.
It's really not cute, especially, when, we have kids,
Yeah.
women, family, elderly watching my videos. I
Yeah.
didn't know that I had so many kids watching my
Yeah.
videos. I didn't know I had so many elderly people that go comments, hey, I love your videos. You take me back to the time that I was riding.
Yeah.
And I started seeing that after this conversation with Yamaha, that they are right. And started figuring it out.
Yeah.
And it was cool because they told me, Dan, we are figuring it out too. We don't
Yeah.
know any of this. We never did this, what we're doing with you.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
it's-
So I do know that with people taking the, like, wave runners out into places like this, I know this isn't your typical ride on the water. You're usually on a wave runner as
Yes.
opposed to being in a kayak.
But this is beautiful, Josh.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, yeah. For me, like, it's cool because it's not that there's anything wrong with the wave runner, but it's a lot quieter. You can get super close to an otter like that and not really disturb him. Whereas maybe on a wave runner, not that you're, like, coming out here to disturb all the wildlife, but you have an engine. Like, it's a little bit different. But so with that, I mean, I know we've talked about it. Do you get, like, pushback with on, like, your content? Because I've seen videos where you share most springs. Like, if you're out here, most spring runs like this, you do have a lot of wildlife as well as people who are kayaking.
Yes.
And so they require you to go idle speed a lot of times. Do you feel like you get a lot of, like, negative pushback from people seeing you take the wave runners into these areas? And, like, what's kind of your opinion on that?
I definitely do. I feel it when I'm at the place and I'm just, I've always, I know that people riding jet skis, wave
Yeah.
runners, or they have a bad reputation because some people just don't know how to behave.
Yeah.
We have rules that we have to follow to be able to come to these beautiful places, and a lot of people do not follow them. So when for example, Wikiwachi, which is a smaller, narrow
Yeah.
river,
Yep.
I get so many faces. And when I post as well, there's so much negative.
Yeah.
There's a lot of positive, but there's so much negative. It's terrible. People curse me out, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Well, I feel like there's just kind of like a stereotype with people being on a jet ski or wave runner in these places that are more, like not. I mean, they're beautiful, but I'm trying to think like more like serene and like quiet and natural, and hear birds chirping, and I feel like people immediately kind of go to that stereotype of somebody on a jet ski or wave runner that they don't care about the environment. You're polluting. You're gonna be doing donuts and crashing into stuff and
Crashing into them.
Yeah.
They think.
Yeah.
And that is something that since the beginning, it's something that I've been, you know, battling, which I was like, you know, I want to change that stigma because it's really, it sucks. It sucks that you pull up with your jet ski in a beautiful place like this. In my case, of respecting others.
Yeah.
And you get cursed. I had fishermen throw their line at me.
Really?
Yeah, when I'm going through a river, and I slow down. If there's a fisherman on the side of a river, let's say, right here, this river, the one that leads us to Rainbow.
With Lacucci?
With Lacucci.
Yeah.
If there's a fisherman on the edge, it's another narrow river.
Yeah.
I slow down, and so I don't create all this wake.
Yeah.
I usually do that. I had people throw their fishing line at me, you know, trying to hook me.
I mean, I don't.
They had bad experiences.
It's pretty messed up, but I don't get the thought behind that, because like if they do end up hooking you, like I feel like they would.
It'll be trouble. Probably.
Yeah, like they're gonna break their pole or their line or something. Like, it's stupid. I don't get it, but I mean, yeah.
They had bad experiences with people, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, that's something else that I wanna change that stigma.
Yeah.
I wanna show the world that we're not all idiots. And me being like a Florida guy, you know, loving the Florida pages, following all the Florida pages, the big Florida pages.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be in some of these pages. Why?
Yeah.
I can never get. Why can I? And I know why. I can never get featured in these pages.
Yeah.
And you know, I started showing people that we respect others. I started sharing how we stop, things like that.
Yeah.
Helping others on these rivers when they pass their stop. And I think people started seeing from my adventures.
Yeah, from the videos and stuff that you share online.
That, you know, that we're not all so bad.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, another thing, a highlight was getting featured on Florida pages. I was featured on Florida pages after, you know, I started like sharing more of that part that we respect. Basically sharing the message, you know, like, guys, when I come to places like this, I like to say it on my stories. I like to remind people that ride, because what do they say? Ignorance is a bliss or something. So some people, they just don't know, Josh, I would say.
Yeah.
Some people do know and they just don't behave correctly. But some people, they might need someone to like tell them, listen, when you come here, guys, this is idle speed.
Yeah.
You're sharing the river with fishermen, kayakers, paddleboarders. Let's make sure we minimize the wake.
And the wildlife. I mean, like,
the wildlife,
obviously all the things you said, but you also want to try to do your best to minimize your impact on the ecosystem and the wildlife and all that.
Which is...
You see the great blue heron?
Yes. Those are Florida's, like...
The icon, yeah. Whenever you see like a National Geographic video or movie or whatever of Florida, I feel like it's like the Everglades, and then you get a bird like the great blue heron like flying through, and yeah, they're incredible birds.
They're beautiful too. Yeah, man, I'm in love with Florida and the beauty. Once I started riding, I was like, oh my God, this place is incredible. I didn't know.
I feel like it's we're gonna start heading back to the ramp here because we're running out of time, but I feel like that with I mean, obviously, like being out here, I enjoy like paddleboarding and kayaking. I mean, when I was younger, like my dad had a boat, so we would go out on the boat every once in a while. But I think personally, like I prefer kayaking and paddleboarding. But I will say the one like downside to it, obviously, is it takes, like, you can't access a lot of places because either they're too far or I mean, depending on the wind, like on a kayak or a paddleboard, I mean, if you have a head-on wind, and you're trying to get somewhere that's like 2 miles away, and you have the tide going and all of that, I mean, like, you're kind of limited with where you can access, where you can go. So I do think in that regard, like having a boat or a wave runner is pretty cool, because you can see a lot more.
Exactly.
But I do, like, I get the opposite side of that, of people, because there are, again, not you, but there are a lot of kind of dumb people that do dumb things with the wave runners. And I think, like people like you being out there and trying to change the perception of kind of how people like yourself conduct themselves on the river or places like this. I mean,
it's important.
Yeah.
It's important for me to do that, share that message, because, I want to be, end up like, it was great because I end up, gaining hearts of some people.
Yeah.
Like, we became friends through this water life in Florida.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we became friends. Yeah.
So it's, things like that happen because, I want to make sure that we are all okay. We're all equal. I want to respect you, respect what you do. And I end up being a likable person, thank God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like it's really funny, like just talking with you and like hearing you on social media. I mean, you have like a deeper, raspier voice, and like you kind of, I feel like people could be intimidated just by hearing you, but then when you sit and actually talk with you, like you're like the coolest, most like down to earth, very like kind of gentle spirited person, and it's so cool.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I made a lot of I connected with a lot of different Florida people, and that to me is huge. I'm so happy for that. Other Florida pages, and it's cool because I felt like I was accepted at the end of the day. You know, on a community that I love. The Florida community. This beautiful state with all these beautiful things we have here.
Yeah.
All this different beauties and different natures. So diverse.
I think at the end of the day, though, I think that whether you're in a kayak or fishing or on a boat or a wave runner, I feel like in order to have a love for places like this, you have to actually get out there and experience them.
Yes.
And without getting out there and experiencing them, like, again, you're not gonna know how beautiful it is. I mean, even if you saw a video of how cool this place is, without being out here, you don't really. It's like going to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And seeing a video of the Grand Canyon, or actually being at the edge where it drops off 1,000 feet. I mean, it's so different.
It is. Than just seeing it on the video.
Yeah. So I feel like, in my opinion, like personally, I would rather have. I mean, obviously, if you're respecting and not doing crazy stuff, like I would rather have you on a wave runner out here, because I mean, one, when you share those videos, like more people are going to see them, but also it helps kind of bring other people into the world and make them aware of these places, and then kind of help them grow the love and hopefully want to protect them as well.
Exactly, and that's one thing that I do. I try to protect these beautiful places.
Yeah.
I pick up trash when we see it, not just me. The people that I go out with.
That you ride with, yeah.
We see trash on the edge of the rivers, we pick it up. We want to make sure this thing go, way past my time. My children, my grandchildren can enjoy all this beauty, because it's the right thing to do when we love these places the way we do. It's another funny thing. These things that I do, anybody can do it, People are like, oh my God, how you do this? How you get there? Florida is so accessible.
Yeah.
You just gotta get out there and experience it. Gotta get out there and live, and you can do it too. I learned, I through the passion, I learned. The best thing that happened to me was the wave runner. It took me from, I was going out. So I was going out to clubs and bars a lot on the weekends,
Yeah.
So when I started riding, all that stopped. I would go to sleep at 10 a.m. to wake up at 4:30 and drive to Edstone Park to go to Silver Glen the next day.
Yep. Because I mean, it's so different being out there in the morning, and your interests and all of the people that you're hanging out with, and everything kind of changes when you, I guess, get into different things. And I think for being on the water, if you're really passionate about it, I think a big thing is being out here early. I mean, whenever I see somebody posting or like sharing on their story or a video of them being out here early in the morning, I'm like, okay, they're in love with Florida. Like I mean, who wants to be out here when it's like 40, 50 degrees out? Like they have to be disciplined to like wake up early and have it be cold and know that they're going to be on the water and they're probably going to get pretty cold while they're out there.
Yeah.
But I think like your whole just who you are changes when you get into places like this. And
it really changed my life.
Yeah.
Man. It was an amazing thing that happened to me when I fell in love with this, with the water, with the wave runner, and just going to beautiful places. Like when I go to these, springs, these rivers, man, I feel like one with it, with the nature.
Yeah.
There's no better feeling. And I wanted to share that with people.
Yeah. No, I agree. And that's a big part of what I do as well is I mean, as a tour guide, but also as like what I do for my career, like getting to share these places is kind of like a big part of what I do. And I don't know. I love like sharing these places with people. It's like one of my favorite things to do and like what I do. But okay, so I know we have the battery about to die here shortly. We probably have another 3 or 4 more minutes, but yeah, I know. So real quick, your like social handle, where people can find you, and yeah, go take.
All right, guys. Instagram is my basically main page. You can find me on Instagram _Aquadan _ I just started my YouTube channel as well.
Nice.
You can search Aquadan. I'm going to start sharing more information than just 15-second clips soon, as I'm learning some things with Josh.
Yeah.
So that's coming too. I'm also on Facebook, Aquadan, and drop a comments. That's probably the best way to get in touch with me is dropping a comments on some of the posts.
Nice.
Sometimes I get a little overwhelmed with all the messages.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of people DM you?
Yes, a lot. And I also, I have a cleaning business, so I'm running a business as well.
Okay.
So it's kind of like I try to get all these things.
Yeah, you're trying to juggle a lot, so.
And stuff.
Well.
But I appreciate you guys, everyone. I appreciate you, Josh.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dan. It was awesome hanging out, and I'm so happy that you came out and did this, and I can't wait to do this again. It's always a great time hanging out with you.
Whenever you need me back, man, I want me back. I'll be here. I got a gift.
Okay,
I want to share this. I got a gift for you. This is something that is really special to me that's happening. I became basically part of this company, family, Salt Mafia.
Nice.
They saw in me too something special,
Yeah.
and I love what they do. The performance gear is made of almost 100% of plastic bottles that they pick up from the sea.
That's awesome. That's cool.
So
very cool.
This is a Florida Aquadan inspired of my adventures, and
Dude,
I want to present to you.
That's so cool.
Aquadan Salt Mafia collaboration.
I actually really like that. That's really, really cool. I love like the alligator eye and. Dude, that's so cool.
It's the things we see in this beautiful state, man.
Yeah.
So I wanted to present you with that. Great brand. You guys can check it out as well.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Salt Mafia?
Salt Mafia.
Okay.
I believe in what they do. Like I said, the social responsibility. You know.
So this is all made like out of recycled plastic and stuff that they collect?
Yes. Their gear, the shirts, the hats. And the hat is also waterproof. Like if you drop water.
That's what I saw a couple videos, and like it floats really well too, right? Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you, Dan.
No, thank you,
I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
It's been an amazing time.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Awesome. Well, we're going to head back to the ramp. But yeah, thank you again so much for coming out.
You're welcome,
and
Josh.
until next time, can't wait.
Hopefully I'll do something like this and I'm going to have you. And again, Josh, thank you for always educating us, man.
Yeah.
And showing us this beautiful state more. Because, I don't know everything. And I learned so much from you, man.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful to me.
Cool. Well, thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
All right, take care, guys.